It burns when I pee. Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast.
No,
what do you think,
that.
Renee? Is that a good start to the show?
I don't know. Yeah. I like that. You know what? I like that you leaned into it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna say the line, you gotta say
go
the line.
for it. It burns when I pee, and my doctor is no help. But it has nothing to do with my urination. It has everything to do with the Baltimore Orioles. Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast. Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli, myself, Jamie Lynch, in with you for the next hour. We are going to have John Foley join us about 12:30, halfway through. But welcome in. Barbara Carroll gets the honor of first comment in the chat today. And no, I do not have a UTI. I just wanted to say it burns when I pee. Burning down the house. What was the show title here, Tyler? Burns so good.
Burns in for you.
Burns in for you. We went
There's
through
a lot of ways that you can let it burn.
Baby burns.
Burns,
let
baby
it burn.
burns. Yeah, we went through every iteration of it.
Every cheesy song we could think
Yeah.
of.
So there's a lot of burns.
There is. But burns when I pee did not make the cut.
No, but
So-
that's why you had to bring it in there because
Yeah,
you
I
didn't
just
want to
wanted-
leave that out. You know, there's
I
so
felt
many
like
others.
it was owed. You know, Bo Wolf mentioned it. You know, it's just like it deserves some honor.
Yeah, sure. I'm
So-
trying to think of some others that you could have went with, but okay.
Yeah.
Let It Burns is mine.
Yeah, let it.
My whole
let-
song
let it-
that I
let
had.
it-
That
Is that
No.
off of Let It Go?
no, it's off of Let It Burn by Usher.
Oh.
Let it burn.
You know me and Usher knowledge. I'm not very good.
Come on, Jamie.
I know, Super Bowl
I
halftime
thought
show.
this is your Jaime alter ego would know it.
All right, I will give you 15 seconds here to address the elephant in the room, and that is the Super Bowl singing performance on Nickelodeon's broadcast.
The most exciting.
That
the most exciting news of
SpongeBob
the
is going to be
day.
singing what?
His legendary football song.
I don't know any of it.
This is the most exciting news of the day. We're starting things off SpongeBob's Way. That's not the actual song, but you know the jingle, Tyler.
Yeah, it's the most important meal of the day.
Serving it up
Gary's way.
No idea what any of that means.
I said I wasn't going to say any SpongeBob references, but then I feel like you teed me up and I can't
I did.
ignore
Well,
it.
it was breaking news yesterday.
It was breaking news. The Nickelodeon broadcast for football games has been great.
It has
so
been.
for the Super Bowl, this now makes me excited. I have a reason to watch between Usher and SpongeBob. I'm there for the concert. I'm just there for the music. So
Usher
this will be
and
your
SpongeBob.
chance.
This is
That's
a big
it.
Super Bowl
Usher
for
and
you.
SpongeBob is what I'm looking forward to. Nothing else.
Yeah. All right. So we got a lot to get to today. We obviously have a down on the farm. We have, a guess that swing to get to. We have our final positivity from Renee to complete our 24 days of Phillies positivity. But obviously we have to start with the major news in baseball yesterday, and that was Corbin Burnes going to the Baltimore Orioles. We've talked about the Orioles a lot this offseason in the prism of what the hell are they doing? You have a championship caliber team. You need starting pitching. Now they have the last laugh. They go out and get Corbin Burnes to anchor their rotation, one of the best pitchers in baseball, and increase their odds depending on what book you're looking at. Anywhere from like 200 to 400 points. And when you're talking about a championship movement, that is substantial. We'll get into all the World Series odds after this move. But Renee, your initial gut reaction when you heard the Corbin Burnes news yesterday, we will talk about, what he went for and what that is in Phillies land and yada, 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 all that stuff. But what was your initial gut?
It's like Baltimore's been telling us, relax, bruh, I got this. Because they went from being quiet to now making the biggest splash this week. Listen, the Baltimore Orioles, it's been quite a time for Baltimore in general. Between the Ravens, despite their awful performance in the AFC Championship, and the Orioles being a top team in baseball, ending their postseason drought last year, this is an exciting time, and they're capitalizing on it. And now you sell the team, and a few days later, you make a huge move. It's not the biggest move, obviously. We know, Shohei Ohtani. But one of the biggest moves this offseason.
Definitely.
And it really had me like, that could have been us. Like, I felt like, and I know everybody has different opinions on whether or not the Phillies should have gone after Corbin Burnes, but seeing what was included in this deal makes me feel like that could have been us. So my initial thought was like, wait, what? Like, they're close to finalizing a deal, and then minutes later the deal has happened. And then my next thought was, could the Phillies have? Should the Phillies have? Would the Phillies have made this deal happen? But it makes sense for actually both parties as I read more and more of what was said coming out of the news.
Yeah, so the full trade happened where the Orioles receive Corbin Burnes. Milwaukee gets back infielder Joey Ortiz, who, if you put it in terms of, the Phillies don't really have this player with the major league experience and minor league options left. They don't really have that caliber player to compare it to. But if Joey Ortiz was in the Phillies farm system, he would probably be a top 3 or 4 prospect.
Yeah.
He's their 6th prospect. So the Orioles do protect their top 5 prospects. He's their 6th, equivalent to our probably like 2nd or 3rd, because the Orioles have the number 1 farm system in baseball. They also send left-handed pitcher DL Hall, who was used in a bullpen role with Baltimore last year, but Milwaukee views him as a starting pitcher. So they're likely going to give him the opportunity to start. And then, of course, the 34th pick overall in the 2024 draft. Now, you cannot trade draft picks in Major League Baseball unless it is a competitive, balanced draft pick. So that actually is a fairly valuable piece, the 34th. Rare that... I think it's relatively rare, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's that high of a pick for a competitive balance.
I mean, generally speaking, you don't see a lot of comp balance picks getting moved regardless, just because for a lot of these teams that have the competitive balance picks, they are the small market teams. And these are selections that they oftentimes try to use to select guys that are, first round adjacent type players, where you get them at a cheaper rate because they're not, it is the first round, but it's not first round, quote unquote. So you get them at a little bit of a cheaper rate, but like teams like the Orioles, the Rays, the A's, the Reds, the Pirates, like they count on these. They count on these picks. That's a significant pick.
Yeah, so that was kind of the icing on the cake for the deal. I see a couple people in the chat saying Hall has had a hard time staying healthy. Hall, in terms of the Phillies farm system, would probably fall in like that 5 to 9 range, somewhere in there. But for the Orioles, I think he was 9th for them. So they essentially give up their 6th and 9th prospects, plus the 34th pick in the draft. Now, Corbin Burnes has 1 year remaining, and he is represented by the big bad wolf, Scott Boras. So an extension is unlikely now because, even talking with Zach Berman from the Eagles show today, I didn't understand the scope of Zach Berman's prospect love. But Zach made the good point. Like, usually the Brewers are pretty well-run organization when it comes to prospects. So maybe they see something in these two that maybe others don't. But I think the general consensus online, Renee, is that the Orioles kind of fleeced them a little bit.
Yeah, so for Baltimore specifically, this is an opportunity for them to bring in a pitcher that can do something many haven't. Corbin Burnes, someone who's thrown over 200 strikeouts, and the numbers he's put up, he automatically bumps to the top of their rotation. So for them, it makes complete sense, even with the 1 year left. I know Barbara was mentioning that it's like a rental. It's a 1 year, then you go from there, and they still, as you talked about, have 5 top 100 prospects. Now, on the other side, for the Brewers, it may look like Baltimore clearly won this, but the Brewers... Actually, both teams have openly said they were looking to make a deal, but they wanted to find the right fit. Neither team was desperate in that sense. We, of course, heard Corbin Burnes was being shopped way back in 2023, last year, at the end of the year, in the start of the offseason. So both teams were looking for that right fit, and the Brewers felt like they had it because they're saying, this is not a rebuild for us. This is us bringing in guys that can help us now and help us in the future. And they feel as though with bringing in both of these pieces, as well as that 34th pick, it allows them to have opportunities to bring in players that are major league ready. They didn't want prospects that still needed more time and that were on the cusp. They wanted guys that have already had a chance to play major, a good amount of major innings. And they thought that with those two, it's exactly that. So for Ortiz and Hall, they were talking about, and I know I've read different quotes from their front office about how they feel like they have bright futures. They are much like the Orioles. The Orioles are in a win now mode. The Brewers are also we want to compete now. This is not about a full overhaul.
I don't believe them.
I know, but actually, I'm like, okay, you're saying all the right things. We'll actually see what happens when you start playing games. But
I mean, they were going to lose them at the year's end. They're not going to spend the
and that's
open
exactly
market
what they were
value,
saying.
so.
They wanted to get something, knowing that Corbin Burnes had already made it known he did not want to go back to Milwaukee. So you're going to have him here for another year, knowing he wants to walk at the end of this season. Versus being able to utilize him and get something in return. So I think for Milwaukee, it's a smart move. I still,
I would have guessed they could have gotten more.
I would have expected more. Exactly.
Yeah, I would have guessed they could have gotten more.
I think those 3 pieces are a good move, but I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 others pieces involved in that deal for Corbin Burnes.
So, Baltimore must feel okay with new ownership coming in, that they're going to be able to, you don't want to give all that for a 1-year rental, ideally. So it's Scott Boras. He's probably going to want Burnes to hit the market so that they can boost that number up. But I would imagine Baltimore's already got it in their mind where they're going to say, all right, here's 35 to 40 million a year for Corbin Burnes. We'll extend him. So now I'm searching Twitter this morning right before the show, just doing some prep work and all that, and I see Dylan Cease trending. And I go, what? So I click on Dylan Cease. I start reading all of it, and John Morosi is the root of the trending, and he on MLB Network this morning said, with the Orioles protecting their top 5 prospects, this trade in no way removes them from the Dylan Cease trade market. If the Orioles go out and get Dylan Cease and Corbin Burnes to put on top of Bradish and bump him down to 3, they all of a sudden, I think they're the team to beat in the AL. Assuming that Jackson Holliday steps right in and is the number 1 prospect in baseball and plays like it. If you're a Baltimore Orioles fan, I saw Scott Van Pelt and a lot of other Baltimore area people tweeting joy yesterday. It's pretty damn exciting if you're an Orioles fan. They are probably right there neck and neck with the Yankees, but the Orioles did it last year. The Yankees didn't, as the top team in the AL.
And exactly as you mentioned, Jackson Holliday. And then, of course, with their rotation now, Corbin Burnes at the top. This is before, and if they don't even add Dylan Cease, Corbin Burnes, as you mentioned, Kyle Bradish, Grayson Rodriguez, John Means, and Dean Kremer. This is a group that's very well. It is scary. I know there were different quotes from various executives and people from around the league say, "Whoa, this is a scary move for Baltimore," because they have been a sleeper and they've been kind of quiet. And then this week, you sell and you trade, and it's a whole different looking Orioles team. And it sounds like they're not done yet. So I know, as we were even talking in our show yesterday, that once the team was sold, there were those. I was seeing various quotes coming out that I was reading about how the Orioles are now looking to be a little bit more aggressive, and that's something that with the Angelos in charge, they weren't
Tyler
able to do.
called it the "fuck you, Peter Angelos" tour.
They weren't able to do that with the Angelos in charge, and now they're ready. They're ready. They've been waiting. They've been wanting to make moves like this. They haven't been able to make these moves, and now this is a whole different Orioles club.
I don't want to forget the Astros and Rangers. Obviously, they're AL contenders as well, but the Orioles certainly shot up the chances of making the World Series a lot yesterday. And now if they go out and get a Dylan Cease or say, screw it, let's go get Montgomery or Snell, they're going to be even better. One guy I did think about in this was Reese Hoskins.
Oh, our Reese Poo.
And I don't feel that bad for him because he's making a lot of money and he gets to play baseball for a living. But in terms of did his agent not tell him that they were going to trade Corbin Burnes? So this is from MLB. He sat down with MLB.com last week. I think the Brewers writer, the Todd Zulli of Milwaukee. And Todd's actually from out there in Milwaukee, oddly enough. But anyway, Reese said, while fielding offers, Hoskins said he only considered contenders. He liked that the Brewers had been to the postseason in 5 of the past 6 years. He liked the idea of hitting at American Family Field, where in a small sample of 42 at-bats, he had a 342, 405, 790 slash line, and he liked the idea of no longer digging into the batter's box against Corbin Burnes, Freddie Peralta, and what has been a tough Brewers staff. Sorry, Reese. The odds of Baltimore contending just plummeted a little bit. So I did announce of me was like, that sucks for Reese, because when they made the Reese move, I went, okay, Milwaukee's going to give it that like college effort try here before the trade deadline and see. And
Well,
yeah, that
again,
sucks.
Milwaukee is really spinning this positively, as they have to and as they should.
Sure.
And they're saying all the right things. We got
you
some
got rid
young
of one of the best
pieces.
pitchers in baseball. I
Yeah.
understand getting young pieces back.
You
but
got
like,
these young pieces. They feel like there's a lot of upside that they bring. They were impressed with how they played last year for the Orioles, especially in the playoffs. So they're looking at, look, we got one of the best first basemen. We've got these great youngsters, and this is going to be a whole different team. And we were going to lose Corbin Burnes anyways. And it all sounds great.
I mean, it
but
makes sense from them, but like Reese's agent should have been like, hey, before you sign with them, just know
It's
they're-
like
they're-
when you go to a college and you have been recruited by this coach, and then you
Yeah.
finally commit and the coach is leaving. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, this is not what I came here for.
Yeah.
So it does feel a little bit like I wonder how much
I would rent, not
Reese-
buy in Milwaukee. Reese,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
maybe get some temporary
and maybe
housing.
that was kind of the expectation on Reese's
I think
side of this
hypothetical man said, yeah, Reese will be gone by July. There's a really good chance of that.
Honestly, we already were seeing that speculation. This could be bring Reese in, see what he can do, and he's out by the trade deadline. But I think it is a rent not buy situation. Don't expect it to be too long, Reese.
Now, can we be vultures on the Brewers roster, or is that something you're going to have to wait to the deadline? Because we've talked about Devin Williams a bunch of times this offseason.
Williams.
He just got named the top bullpen arm in baseball yesterday on MLB Network's list. Jose Alvarado actually came in 10th. We'll dive into that list in a second here. But Tyler, I know you, Willie. I am going to screw it up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what?
Go
What are you
ahead,
saying
Jamie.
here?
You can do it. Nope.
What is happening?
Willie Adames.
Nope.
I can't do it.
Adames.
He might get moved. Devin Williams possibly could get moved. How old is Peralta? Is he like 28, 29?
Yeah, something like
So
that.
they're probably not, if he has years remaining, they're probably not going to move on from him. But now you look at the Brewers and you go,
He's only 27.
He's 27.
27.
And Devin's
okay.
29.
I would do bad things to get Devin Williams in Philadelphia.
Brother. I mean, I definitely would do a lot of things.
Would you eat cheese? American sliced white cheese right from the deli.
Sacrifice for the team.
Would you eat American cheese for Devin Williams?
I would do it. Wow. I would do it.
I admire your commitment,
Oh,
Renee.
God.
I can see you getting uneasy just talking about it.
I would do it. I think I could do it. I put the team on my back for Philly. Put
I
the
wish
city
there
on
was
my
a way-
back.
Renee eats cheese. Jamie wears socks for a week.
Oh, no, not just socks.
And
Socks
sneakers.
with some. I want some little more fluff in there, like some man Uggs.
Oh, just the idea of sweaty feet like
Have you
that.
ever worn like some Uggs?
I have Ugg slippers, not
great.
like the boots.
Okay, that's fine. Slippers and Uggs.
Yeah.
And then Tyler, you have to. Do we go music? Do we go?
Yeah, where's Tyler most uncomfortable?
He doesn't like heights.
It's true. I don't. You know,
Would
make
you
me
go up to the
stand
top
on
of the Comcast tower and have a cocktail with me while
Nope.
looking out the window?
Oh, yeah, inside probably.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was telling Renee
But
yesterday.
would you be uncomfortable standing against the window there?
Extremely.
Okay.
You have to stand against the window for 5 minutes.
What is this? We'll go up to Jean Georges and have
Oh
a
my
cocktail.
What?
Jean Georges
Okay.
is the fancy pants restaurant up there.
Oh,
Are
okay,
you
sure.
are you running down Broad Street nude? Mickey Durkin's basically asking you. Are you streaking?
If we get Devin Williams, I might.
I mean, we talked about this on the show. We did a whole trade around Devin Williams.
Yeah.
And people were like,
And he just got named the top bullpen arm
he
in
just
baseball.
got named the top bullpen arm. And the Brewers, although they're
Sharp white
claiming it's
cheddar.
not a rebuild time period, and they're win now and win later mentality. It's smelling. Smell that, Jamie? It smells a little bit like I won't call it a rebuild, but it
Like-
smells like a little bit of
Well, like what The Rock is
a little
cooking.
reno.
There you go. CMC gave me a good one. I
smells
got
like
to
a
call all
renovation.
the Phillies by their first names.
Spiral Out says you have to listen to Grateful Dead only for a month.
Ugh.
Come on, Tyler. I can give you the good stuff.
$63 on a
just
drink.
don't like jam
Spend
bands.
$63 on a drink.
They're bluegrass rock. I mean, they're a little jammy at times, but
know Grateful Dead.
There's foundational
super-
rock and blues and bluegrass in there.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. If you were to give me a
Give you the
like,
78 Europe tour,
if
Tyler.
you were to
It'll blow
say,
your mind.
Tyler, you got to pick a band and only listen to them that you like truly like want to throw up when you listen to, Blink 182 would be it.
Oh, really?
I like a couple
I hate Blink with a
182 songs
passion.
back in the day. I like the
They're-
little Blink Blink.
Yeah, I never really got into them.
Well, them and like Linkin Park were big when I was in like elementary school.
Two entirely different bands.
No,
Extremely different bands.
Yes.
but I'm just saying they were big.
Yeah,
and they're
okay,
not.
that's
I wouldn't
fair.
listen to any of them today.
That's fair.
But like those are types of bands that growing up were big. Better. Anyways, now that we're going down to music, and I'm like thinking of some others, but this smells a lot like a renovation. I won't call it a full-on rebuild. But it's smelling like
But-
they're trying to make some moves, and they might be interested in fishing out some more names. And
Yeah, if
Phillies,
Milwaukee sucks in
it
the first
becomes
2 months of
falling
the
out the
season,
sky.
start prying that roster apart and see who you can get. CMC says DMB, deep tracks only. Oh, don't tease me with a good time, CMC. But yes, look, we'll see if Devin Williams becomes available. He's going to cost you a lot. We talked about it before.
we thought Corbin Burnes was going to cost a
Well,
lot.
so the Corbin Burnes trade in terms of the Phillies. Now, there's a man out there whose information I'm not allowed to use, but he did tweet about
we just got our thumbs down.
well, this thing in it's
it
called
you?
Twitter is public space, and there is a guy that knows a lot about Phillies minor leaguers and does a really nice job, but I'm not allowed to reference his work. Anyway, he speculated that it would probably the equivalent in Phillies terms would probably be something around this for Corbin Burnes, Mick Abel, Aiden Miller, and say like one of Caba or Bogoya. That's a hefty price.
Would you take that deal?
For a 1-year rental, I know this is going to be unpopular to hear. I probably wouldn't.
So if
Because
Corbin
of
Burnes
this.
was with the Phillies,
Yes, you would have Burnes, Wheeler, and Nola for this 1 year, which would be unbelievable. That's a very high price to pay for a rental. The problem, and where I probably don't do it, is I don't think it's good business to have 3+ 30-year-old pitchers tied up for, depending on what Wheeler gets, at least 4 to 6 years. You'd have 3 30-year-old guys. Hopefully you could protect Sanchez and Ranger. I mean, it would be a filthy rotation, but like you really decimate your minor league system here. And I know, and look, I'm Mr. Don't clutch your pearls when it comes to prospects. But the fact that it's a rental, that's a really high price to pay.
yeah.
So I probably wouldn't, and that pains me to say.
That part makes it tough. It's enticing to think about that rotation because you have a lot of options there, and it would be filthy, and it would be very fun to watch. But then we're already talking about the Zach Wheeler extension that needs to happen since he'll be a free
Yes.
agent next year. It just requires
That's
a
part
lot
of
from
the
the
equation,
Phillies.
yeah.
Yeah, it requires a lot from the Phillies to pay and moves that I don't think they would make. I would rather have Devin Williams if we had to choose.
So Devin Williams will cost less. I mean,
Right.
he's younger and cheaper, obviously, but I would imagine teams.
You upgrade from like a Craig Kimbrell to a
Teams
Devin
don't
Williams.
typically like trading a lot for big bullpen pieces because,
Yeah.
like, historically, I mean, it's such a fickle position, closer. Like, some guys have great years, down year. Great year, down year. Like
And-
Aaron Nole's only good on the even years. Like baseball's weird. So like Devin Williams is going to cost you slightly less, but because of his age, because of his rank in baseball, I mean it's going to be expensive. Would I give up Aiden Miller and Mick Abel to get Devin Williams? And I saw Matt Gelb write about this, and I think this is a fair point. We view it, us as fans and fanalists and all that, like view it as like this championship window is closing. Dave Dombrowski and staff don't view the window as closing. They're
Right.
trying to keep this a 10-year window, whereas we view it on the outside as like, dude, you got 2 or 3 more years max because these guys are 30, 31, they're all in their prime. So like, would I do that? I probably would because irrationally I see the window shrinking, not staying open. Dave Dombrowski, Preston Mattingly, Sam Fold are trying to go, all right, like we need to keep this window open for 8 to 10 years. And they might view it that way. And that's the difference between front office and fans and analysts. So Would I? Yeah, I probably would. Because then all of a sudden you have Devin Williams and Jose Alvarado as the back end of your bullpen. I mean, anybody can catch these hands come playoff time.
Yeah, well, you know what decision doesn't have to be difficult. That's where you start your day and eat some delicious breakfast. That's over at Bagels & Co. Brooklyn-style bagels made in Philly, right in our backyard. We actually had Bagels & Co. They were kind enough to bring us some on Tuesday.
I've been thinking about
Wednesday,
that Monte Cristo ever since.
And they brought us some delicious fresh bagels and also some breakfast bagel sandwiches. We had a sauce. We had a bacon, egg, and cheese. We had, what was yours?
I had the Monte Cristo bagel, turkey, ham, cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And the bagels are huge. It makes a great sandwich.
And it was delicious. And the great thing about Bagels & Co. is exactly like Jamie just mentioned. You get large, meaty, hearty sandwiches. You get lots on there, and they're delicious, and they're a great price also. 15 to 20 different fresh bagels every day, a variety of bagels, but also a variety of cream cheeses. 30 different flavors of schmears. I know, CMC's saying it's schmear season. They've got 30 different flavors. They've got holiday-specific ones. They've got Philly sports-specific ones. So head on over to Bagels & Co. Check out the latest delicious options that they have. And again, right in our backyard, which makes it even that much more convenient. So in this economy, make sure you're eating right. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you're getting a very nutritious, delicious breakfast sandwich. For the best Brooklyn-style bagels made right here in Philly, head to thebagelsandco.com. Find the location nearest you, and you will not be sorry. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Head on over to Bagels & Co.
I had one of the leftover bagels with the scallion cream cheese yesterday. I just have to say, the scallion cream cheese is the true goat of all cream cheeses. I'm just throwing that take out there on a Friday.
Wow. What a
It's an interesting one.
Oh, the scallion, the green onion, cream cheese. What a delightful combo that is. And, maybe I'll pack one up on the road with me this year when we're headed to Clearwater with our friends at Philly Sports Trips. I've gone on several Philly Sports Trips in the past. Vince does a phenomenal job running this company because once you put down your deposit and your trip is booked, you can just literally shut your mind off. You don't have to think about another thing. Private charter flights, transportation to and from the airport, game tickets, transportation to the stadium from Clearwater Beach. There's going to be a St. Patty's Day booze cruise that Renee, Tyler, and myself will be on with the good people of Philly Sports Trips. We hope that you can be one of these people, whether it be now or in the future. Clearwater is an amazing time. Clearwater Beach is spectacular. I'm already thinking about the grouper sandwiches and the bait house and the awesome restaurants down there. Frenchie's Tiki Bar in left field. It's just going to be a great trip. You get to hang with Phillies legend Charlie Manuel. Uncle Charlie's going to be making an appearance with us this year, and there's no better baseball guy to just be around than Uncle Charlie. Philly Sports Trips is a whole experience from start to finish. You can spend St. Patty's Day on that private yacht with us, with catered dinners and drinks, boats and hoes. Am I right? You know that movie?
I do.
All right. Good job, Renee. We're proud of you on that one. So be on the lookout for more events dropping throughout the year. Prestige worldwide, wide, throughout the year with Philly Sports Trips. Our trip coming up is March 13th to 18th. I might have a countdown for it on my calendar.
Countdown.
Prestige worldwide, wide.
Catalina wine mixer.
Yeah. Trying to make bank, bro. So
much room for activity.
Yeah, if you want to join us March 13th through 18th, don't wait to book. Head to allphly.com/events to learn more and book your trip. Before we bring in John Foley to join us here in a minute, I did just want to go through that bullpen list because Jose Alvarado did get his national recognition. He comes in at the number 10 on the list of best bullpen arms in baseball, according to the MLB Network. This came out yesterday. So Jose, what a move for the Phillies to get him off the scrap heap down in Tampa and help turn him into one of the top 10 closers in baseball or high leverage arms. I don't even know what you call guys anymore. Number 9 is Chris Martin on the Boston Red Sox, who were in the news today because Theo Epstein has joined the Fenway Sports Group, which is John Henry's sports ownership company, and he is going to be the senior advisor to the Red Sox. So we'll see if the Red Sox actually change up their ways a little little bit. David Bednar comes in at number 8. Brian Abreu, number 7. Edwin Diaz, who we didn't see last year because he was injured.
But he's got a new teammate, Shintaro Fujinama.
Oh, I missed that one.
Nami,
He signed with the Mets.
Yeah, that just happened.
So
today,
Edwin
actually.
Diaz, and look,
Right
I'll
now,
say this.
actually. 20
This
minutes
isn't
ago,
a popular take. I think the Edwin Diaz trumpet entrance is cool.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I think it's
Phillies fans don't like to hear that.
Super cool.
I think it's really cool.
By the way, I'm sorry. Fujinami just signed. There's a deal that just was put in place as we were doing the show today. So just 20 minutes
With
ago.
the Mets.
With the Mets.
All right.
There you go. Breaking
Johan
news.
Duran comes in number 5. Evan Phillips, number 4. Pete Fairbanks on the Rays, number 3, who might be up there with... I don't know where Emmanuel Clase was. On the fan vote, he was like number 4 or 5. On Shredder's top 10, he's not there. Ryan Helsey comes in number 2. And then, of course, Devin Williams with one of the best pitches in baseball comes in at number 1. Emmanuel Clase should be in the top 10, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Renee, and I know we're going to do this when we do our own lists. 5 of these guys are in my top 10.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this list I feel like needs our love.
Their
We
MLB
need
Network list making has been
Yeah.
a little off, I guess you would say.
I
Like
don't know
Ozzy Albies
if
not
it's
being on the second
intentional.
baseman list.
I don't know if it's for clicks. I don't know if it's for starting conversation. I don't know if they really believe this. Maybe they're just missing and not watching. But yeah, this list is pretty interesting. I'm just happy Jose's on there, but overall, there's some names on here that shouldn't be in the top 10, and definitely one's missing, like Clase. I don't know where he is. I do not have him top 10.
That's weird. But hopefully the Guardians sell, and maybe the Phillies will get a Devin Williams or an Emmanuel Clase. That would be quite nice. Is John with us there, Tyler?
He is.
All right, let's bring him in here.
Oh, we have a normal introduction for someone, although he's not a guest.
Yeah, he's part of the show, so no, he just knows our weirdness.
Yeah.
We welcome in John Foley. He's at 2008 Phils on Twitter. John, I really enjoyed today's Photoshop of one of my favorite movies, Groundhog's Day. Very timely by you to put JT Real Muto with the groundhog on his lap.
Very happy to join you all on this very special Groundhog Day edition of PHLY. And the Photoshop was a little bit of a no-brainer. That one there's the layup.
Had one earlier in the week that really had me
Did
cracking up.
Punxsutawney see a shadow?
Spring is coming early.
I knew
Yes.
it. I knew it.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Tani saw his shadow.
We
because
saw the
it's-
sunshine yesterday.
It's been and it's been warming up. It feels like spring's coming. Listen, John, with the news from that Corbin Burnes headed to the Orioles, Jamie was saying he would not have made a deal if the Phillies had an option to trade any prospects because of the names that the Phillies would have had to give up. Would you, now knowing what was involved in that trade between the Brewers and the Orioles, do you think the Phillies could have made a move to bring in Corbin Burnes, and do you think it would have been a good deal to do so? Thoughts?
For me, I always come down on the side of just shipping out the prospects, shipping out the unknown quantities, and bring me that star. And part of that is just like the instant gratification of it. Like, all right, forget about 5 years down the line. Just give me Corbin Burnes right now. And then part of it is just years and years of watching these trades never seem to work out for the team that gets the prospects. The Phillies have been on both sides of it. I've seen them ship out prospects for stars, and then I've seen them as the sort of that golden era core fell apart. Have to send out. We got like 6 players for Cole Hamels, and none of them really turned out to be much. And yeah, some teams are in a place where they have to operate that way, and unless they can't afford to sign the contracts, so you have to ship the players out to get new blood and control their contracts. I don't think the Phillies are in that place. They can afford to sign people. So I'm maybe a stereotypical Phillies enthusiast in that I want the star players. I want them now. Take whatever prospects
I'm the same
you
way.
want, but.
Yeah, just for me, like the 1 year rental aspect of it, John, and because Boris represents him, like he's gonna want to go to market. Do I want Corbin Burnes with Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola? You bet your ass I do. But like a price tag of like an Abel, a Miller, and like say a Bergoya or a Caba, I think that kind of decimates your farm system, which has turned a corner here recently. And if you know me, like I am with you, like trade for proven talent all the time. But on that 1-year rental deal, it's kind of tough for me to get my head around.
Yeah, I hear that completely, and it's completely reasonable. It's just not my
Reasonable and lame.
instinct. It's not as fun. I mean, if he was here this year, we'd be popping champagne today.
But that's what
So,
I feel like it makes
it's a
sense for that
responsible thing.
reason.
Maybe we'll be better off down the line, but right now it's just one of those why not us type of days.
Yeah, exactly, John. And that's how I'm feeling. Like I'm all for go now, get the sure thing, figure out that 1-year issue next year. Today's problems are for today, and tomorrow we'll save for another day. But then on the other side of it, it makes you wonder names like Devin Williams, John, that maybe in the future could be getting shopped around. Would you go all in for Devin though, who we should see if he is moved for a lesser price tag?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the prices. Again, my instinct is take the known quantity. I also feel there's years when you rebuild the farm system, and then there's years when you're so close that maybe you sort of cash in on what you've built a little bit for immediate help to just get over that hump. And for a team that went to the World Series in 2022 and to the NLCS in 2023. It feels like a weird spot to be to not. Of course, they re-signed Nola. That's huge, but it doesn't change the team you had last year. So it feels like an odd moment to be counting on this improvement coming from within, and building the farm system. All things that very good, responsible organizations do. I understand it, but also the timing is interesting to me.
Yeah, to not do anything when you're on the doorstep of back-to-back World Series does seem a little strange to me, but it is what it is. John, Jose Alvarado gets named the 10th best bullpen arm in baseball yesterday by MLB Network. This sure seems to me like one of the best moves, pound for dollar that the Phillies have made in the last 20 years, because they got him for absolutely nothing from Tampa Bay. Hopefully this is a great sign for this front office going forward and being able to scout and develop these types of guys.
Yeah, it's incredible. Alvarado is such a success story. He's so much fun, such a talented player. Just an absolute win for the Phillies. They did it last year with Jeff Hoffman, who really never had that level of success, and they seem to have unlocked something in him. So we're longtime fans. We're very not used to players coming here and getting better somehow and getting coached up. So this is remarkable, and it's fantastic, and I hope it continues. Now, to get so confident in your coaching abilities that you're just gonna make Colby Allard your big off-season addition. I don't know if we're going overboard, but it is promising. Alvarado, huge success. Glad to see him getting national recognition. And yeah, hopefully they keep it up with more of these guys.
Well, John, let's talk about something else very exciting. Pitchers and catchers report in 11 days.
No,
they fly
12.
down in 11 days, but they start training in 12. I'm calculating on the flight because I feel like that's when the trip starts. Spring training begins when they board the plane or get in the car.
No.
So 11 days until they are traveling
12,
to Clearwater.
but that's okay.
And you are also going to be traveling to Clearwater before us. You'll be down there the entire time, covering, following, just in the mix. I know you're going to also be sharing some of that information, and you already have started sharing that information. Just for those that are tuning in that may have missed it, tease out what you've been sharing about your big spring training details to come up very, very soon. You got a little over a week.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I see the flipboard here. I've got my own. It's got me on 9 days. I'm ready to hit the road. I'm going to drive down there, which is always a fun idea for like the first 5 hours of the trip, and then you're just in Virginia forever, wondering why didn't I just fly? But yeah, heading down there soon. We'll be there every day. And bringing everybody as much information as I can. Who's showing up when, who's looking good, who's working on what. and really looking forward to it. It's exciting. It's my first time down there in a professional role. I've been down there a lot in the past, and it's a great time. I highly recommend that everyone join our road trip, March 13th through 19th. I'm going to be down there the whole time, and it's basically a dream come
Spot
true.
John is the bait house. All right, so just the bait house. That's my favorite place down there for food and drinks. So file that one away.
A lot of good places. Got to hit up Lenny's for breakfast, and
line, but it's always delicious.
It's worth it. Yeah.
With the Atlanta Braves, I think just this morning, maybe it was late last night, but Ken Giles signs with the Atlanta Braves for $1.75 million minor league deal with an MLB camp invite. He hasn't thrown in, or he hasn't pitched in almost 3 years. Had some bullpen sessions last week. Please tell me, John, that the Braves are not going to find a diamond in the rough and find a healthy Ken Giles to have a resurgence in his career down there.
Oh, that would be a nightmare. Is there any news on what his velocity is looking like nowadays?
I haven't seen anything.
It just reminds me of a movie.
I don't know. My first instinct is it's the Braves. Of course, the move's going to work out for them. But I remember they signed Howard to a minor league deal, the Hamels, and those haven't worked out. So, it
good. That's what I needed
to take a flyer on him, but.
Yeah, they don't do well with Philly scraps. All right, you've brought me full circle.
See, I heard the news and I'm like, oh no, this is just teeing up to me to be like a 30 for 30 or some movie that we're gonna watch in the future of like this big comeback and the return to playing and all that. But fingers crossed, I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I'm worried that you're right, but fingers crossed that you're wrong, Renee.
All right, John, take off your Phillies cap here for a minute. I have the updated World Series odds after Corbin Burnes and the Orioles put their foot down yesterday. Take away your Phillies fandom. You have the Los Angeles Dodgers, #1, plus 360. This is just gambling, John. This isn't baseball Philly fan, John. Atlanta Braves, plus 500. The Houston Astros, plus 800. The Yankees at plus 1,000. Rangers at plus 1,200. Orioles plus 1,300, Philadelphia Phillies plus 1,500.
I mean, the Phillies fan of me has already placed my bets on that. Trying to look more objectively and see where there's value. I continue to think the Rangers are, a little bit undervalued, both in national conversation about baseball and in betting odds. One thing that's interesting is you see the Orioles, and I think there was a bump in their chances, based on the recent moves. Obviously, it's interesting to see they're still in a place that's pretty much the same as the Phillies, who have had, the most boring offseason possible. So it's a little bit of a helpful reminder that, the team that has all the buzz and the excitement and the fun is not necessarily automatically better. So I know I'm supposed to be taking off the fan hat in this particular moment, but it is a nice reminder that the Phillies are still good. They were a good team. They were good enough to win last year. So running it back isn't crazy. It's not fun, but
no, it hasn't been the most exciting offseason in the world. But perspective and talking to a lot of guys that cover teams in other markets, like there is perspective that we're in a better situation than most here in Philadelphia. So
exactly,
you try to walk that balance there, and it is what it is.
Right. But those odds seem about right to me for just about all the teams. I wouldn't even objectively, I wouldn't bet on the Braves after their postseason.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't
look on the world on their shoulders in another series versus the Phillies. Can you imagine? So
yeah, looking at this, I wouldn't. The Dodgers are too convenient. It's too easy.
It's not a good return.
And it's not a good return. The Braves, with their last two postseasons, I wouldn't bet on them. I don't see the Rangers. It's tough to run it back and win back to back. And then the Yankees and Astros are just kind of, I feel like, they're obviously the Yankees have made some significant moves with Juan Soto, and the Astros are the Astros and now have Josh Hader. But I think the Orioles and Phillies are actually the two teams objectively that make a lot of sense if you're placing a World Series bet right now. But who knows?
Yeah. Let's get that 83 rematch, right?
Exactly.
Finally, we'll get our revenge.
Yeah. Well, make sure you are following John on Twitter at 2008 Phils. He's going to be down in Clearwater in 9 days, down there for the length of camp. I would be lying if I didn't say I was a little bit jealous that you get to spend 6 or 7 weeks in Florida, as I was down there last weekend, John, and man, that weather's nice. It was like 74 and sunny.
Just a work trip. I won't be enjoying myself at all.
Yeah. You're going to be grinding at baseball games and then enjoying the sunshine and all the greatness that Florida has to offer. Well, make sure you're following John's writing on allphly.com. He'll be posting all of his stories and stuff there. We'll be catching up with him in mid-March when we are down there. But make sure you're visiting the website, and we'll be pumping out his articles and stories. And John's going to be doing a great job down there for us. So we're looking forward to what you have in store for us down in Clearwater.
Thanks. A lot of great stuff on the way. Thanks.
Awesome. Can't wait for it.
See you, John.
And there is John Foley.
Jamie's a jelly, Jamie.
I mean, a little bit. 6 weeks in Florida. That doesn't sound kind of nice to you?
I don't want 6 weeks. I think I'd be after a while.
If I could have the family down there with me, like that would be.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but I think after a while, I'd be like.
So I'll go stay with John, and then I'll just conference in with you every day. Is that cool?
I would go down for like a week or two. And then come back and then go down again.
Yeah. But getting a little taste of that weather last weekend, like in February, and then here it's just wet and gray and salty.
See, I'm ready for mine spring. Is not just about the weather. After a while, I would miss my bed. I just miss being home. I also definitively completely honest issues of you. I like to pack a lot of like clothes and shoes, and like I need all like my
I got a pair of flip-flops. I'm good.
Yeah. So I feel like because of that reason, after I'm like, oh, I need this, or I forgot this, or I wish I had this shirt or these shorts and shorts and a quarter zipper too.
As
a female to pack for 6 weeks, oh my gosh, that would be dreadful.
They do have washers and dryers.
No, who rewears?
You wash your stuff.
They have that technology down there.
They do.
Florida
has washers and dryers.
They
just got it like 3 years ago.
Like that. Like I mean, I rewear like sweats and stuff, but not.
You bring like 8 outfits or some variation.
That's what I'm packing for when we go down for 1 week. Like 8 outfits.
Yeah,
like
and then you just wear it again.
You're gonna.
Oh gosh.
You're gonna check a bag, aren't you?
I think I'm gonna have to check a bag.
Well, I think I'm probably going to need to check a bag, too.
If you guys are not checking a bag.
But I also have work
stuff.
My
goal every time I travel is to get everything I can in the smallest amount of baggage. Like when I left last weekend, my wife was like, "You're only taking a backpack?" And I was like,
"You only took a backpack?"
Yeah.
Didn't you check your clubs?
Well, in my golf bag, outside of my golf clubs. All a backpack.
You know, the problem is you just need,
I view it as a challenge.
Women, you just need options. Like, what if I want to wear some cute sandals one day with like a nice
I bet every vacation you come home from, you go, oh wow, look at all this stuff I didn't even use or wear.
Yeah, but at least I had, you know what? I always come back like I still didn't pack enough because there's always something like it's different.
Why does everybody pack so much underwear on a vacation that they're gonna shit themselves 3 times a day? Like every time I get home, I'm like, why did I pack these 4 extra pairs of underwear? This is ridiculous.
Because a place like Florida, if you're swimming or going to the beach, like you do need to change your underwear after when you shower. You don't put the same drawers back on. That's gross.
But like it's usually too much. Everybody packs too much underwear.
I always because that's one of those things you don't want to be caught without.
I guess.
Like,
but
and
like
it's so small. Like it's so easy to just pack extra.
They have stores.
Who's buying? Then you have to spend money, and then. Like, you could probably wear the same outfit to different things. You wear the same thing to the golf course as you would to the show, as you would to the bar. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, like Jamie and I have a very easy...
I would probably change my outfit at least twice in a day.
Like there is a fair chance that, like, Jamie and I could find a golf course while we're down there and, like, rent clubs.
I was thinking about that.
And then wear that
I'm not
to
bougie.
the bar.
Ask any female. I don't know many females.
Barbara Carroll, Linda, and Christy.
Help me out, ladies. It's because you need, like... I wouldn't wear the same outfit I wear to work and then go wear that to like every other function we do in Florida.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to need a bathing suit and then I'm going to need like beach wear or pool clothes or like Whatever. It's just totally different.
Tyler,
you guys don't
I,
understand the struggle, man.
I was looking up Clearwater Beach area golf courses
I'm
yesterday.
just saying, listen, if you're okay with renting clubs, I'm 100% down to play.
Oh, I can bring my clubs for free.
Oh, well, even better.
I'm a American Airlines card
Ooh, so do you get to? Oh, so
I get a
you
free
can
bag.
have. Ooh, yay! Perfect. Bring your backpack. Check your gloves, and then I'll give you one of my bags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the Chichi Rodriguez Golf Academy down there, which the greens fees help kids in need and inner city
it's perfect.
troubled youth, and they try to get them on the golf course. And
That's cool.
So like
Just air
really
quote
cool.
that.
by us golfing, we're helping children. So you see,
Yeah, I
it's
like
like
that
it's
idea.
almost like we have to golf when we're down
You
there.
have to. It's a requirement.
Yeah, we're helping
How
children.
could you not
Renee,
help
do you
the
play?
kids?
You want to play with us?
Have you ever played?
I've golfed. I'm not that great.
Neither am I. It's okay.
Neither am I. I play all the
suck.
time.
I'll
I
just-
suck.
Yeah, I'll be there from.
It's just
report.
it's just a 4-hour drinking
walk around.
experience. That's what we're there for.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, I'm down to hit off the course.
How many-
I'm
how many
not
other
complaining about
places?
shopping, by the way. I'm the opposite of you, where I find myself like, okay, how much can I possibly pack without having to pay for extra bags? And I'm squeezing stuff in. I've got some packing. I'm a really good packer.
I'm a
actually.
good packer. Yeah, you like fold the t-shirt
Yeah.
down.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I'm a great packer.
I
for
really
sure.
squeeze
But
them
it's
in
just
there.
a lot more than what you have, Mr. Pullover khakis.
Yeah. All right, let's get down on the farm, and then you're going to close out our positivity, and we have a guest that swing.
Oh man.
Down on the farm. Today is an intriguing one. Number 6 on our list, and if you've been following along, we do not have Orion Kerkering as one of our top 10 prospects, as we're considering him graduated from Prospect Life, even though technically he isn't. So Bryan Rincon comes in at number 6 on our list. He is a shortstop. He could potentially play second base if he gets too thick in his lower half. This is real. I read it on the scouting report on Baseball America. It says he is an exceptional fielder with
good
quick
Lord.
short step movements, but if he gets too thick, thick in his lower half, they could see him being a second baseman. So projecting ahead his position, most likely a middle infielder. Name test. Let's start right there. Bryan Rincon. Yeah, he's got a shot. I can't rule this kid out. He sounds a little bit like a ball player to me. Originally from Venezuela, moved to the Pittsburgh area when in high school. He's still just 19 years old, 5'10", 185 pounds. He split between low A and high A last year and really impressed Preston Mattingly. We'll read you some of his quotes here in a minute. His slash line last year between those two clubs, is that 34, Tyler? The lights are blinding me.
Yes, 234.
234, 368, 361, 8 home runs, 52 ribbies, 27 stolen bases, caught stealing 14 times. His tools on the scout scale, currently right now a 35 on hitting with a ceiling of 55, which is really promising. In the field, currently a 45 with another 55 possibility. He's a 50 on the scout run scale and a 55 on the throwing scale. Basically, he's so young and he made so many strides last year. I think that's why it shows you his potential is through the roof. So Baseball America says he is a top-end ceiling of an everyday infielder / shortstop who hits at the bottom of the order, but is more likely to settle in as a super utility player who provides plenty of defensive value. Very good fielder. We'll get into some of the Preston Mattingly quotes in a second. This kid has a lot of potential. But again, if you put Bryan Rincon in like the Orioles system, he's probably like 13th, 14th.
Yeah.
For the Phillies, he's in that 6 to 8 range, depending on who you follow for your scouting reports.
Well, it always makes me chuckle when I read their reports, and it's like talking about where they went to high school and the
14th
and
round
I'm
they
like,
got him out
you
of
were
Pittsburgh.
19, you were just in high school, but a lot of positives about his growth and the fact that he caught a lot of people by surprise and kind of flew under the radar. And I know Preston Mattingly was saying how his slash lines don't tell the full story, that his pitch recognition is really advanced. He makes a ton of contact at the plate. Obviously, with him being a switch hitter, you kind of have to work
love
double.
a switch hitter.
But he has a really good feel for what pitchers are trying to do to him, and he understands the strike zone. And Alex Coffey actually wrote a nice article about him and was including a lot of Mattingly's quotes and just the thoughts, as well as there were some personal quotes from him as well. Now, early on, he struggled, which makes sense. He's 19 now, so he's only younger then. And then you could see that his at-bat quality was good, and just the extra movements that he was adding that wasn't necessary. So needed some refining, needed to clean up his swing, his movement. And then also he's been working on cutting out some of that unnecessary movement. And for him overall, it's like he's just taking in all these experiences, learning, and he was mentioning, Brian was talking about, wanting to just play and show people what he can do, and every day working hard, trying his best, trying to get better every day. And baseball is all he's known. Growing up, it was like everything was around baseball. It wasn't holidays, it wasn't, anything else, trips, everything was baseball. And so he ate, breathed, sleeps baseball, and always has. And he has been able to help with his dad's help and his family's help, be able to get opportunities to play in the United States, and then eventually, as we now know, work his way up the ladder and trying to get to the majors.
To Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a family member there or something to help get him off I don't know.
Yeah,
but interesting. Usually when you have baseball aspirations, you go somewhere a little warmer. Interesting to go to the Steel City.
It was a family member that he stayed with, and that his dad was.
That makes sense. Then.
Yeah, his dad was saying that physically he didn't have the right tools at the moment, so moving to the United States, his dad knew that it would help him to be able to get those opportunities, so they had to stay with family. Yeah, exactly. Sure.
So he is more powerful from the right-hand side of the plate, is a switch hitter, but as you said, like those are his praises offensively. He does an excellent job of his swing and miss rate at stuff inside the zone. Between both levels last year, low A and high A, his in-zone miss and chase rates were 11.7% and 16.6%. Obviously, a little bit of work to do, but those are pretty encouraging numbers for somebody 19 years old at a low A level. Scouts were impressed with his near identical swings from both sides of the plate. Is more powerful right-handed, but you can't really tell the difference between right or left-handed. As you talked about, he made the jump from low A to high A. We went over his numbers there, but he did draw 68 walks against 76 strikeouts.
Yeah.
So it's pretty even there. And as you talked about those defensive movements, he's been working with an infield coach, Adam Everett, and Preston Mattingly really gives him credit for, quote unquote, Adam was working on cutting out some of those unnecessary movements. I remember walking out onto the field and watching him take ground balls and thinking, oh my God, that's Bryan Rincon. It looked like nothing before. The movement was minimal, and I thought to myself, wow, this is going to be a lot faster than I expected. He's got a chance to be special. And that's a quote from Preston Mattingly, who was the minor league farm director and now has been elevated out of that position. But promising stuff, really good control of the zone, love a switch hitter, and probably 2027 at the earliest, I would think. So I think somebody in the chat, who was it? Chris Slemmer. I like these young kids, but it does seem like they're so far away. This is part of rebuilding a farm system. It was so bad for so long. Matt Klentak failed, wasn't able to improve it. This new front office staff has, but because of that, you have 19-year-old kids who have been in the system for a year who are top 10 prospects.
10, exactly.
You're going to have to be a little patient with these kids.
And realistically, he should be lower down the list. And now, in a year, 2 years, he's moving into that top 10. And Tyler, I'll let you go in a moment, but I will say the things that I liked about him are the fact that he seems like a quick learner. He's picking up on things quickly, as Preston Mattingly was talking about. And also the fact that he's someone that has it seems like a lot of the intangibles are already there, and he just needed some refining with time and with experience versus having to teach him everything. He wasn't chasing balls. He wasn't someone that, was all over the place, but very consistent, a good foundation that just needs refining. So 2027 could be the projection, around that time. But who knows if he can continue growing as fast as he's done from even in the last year to now. anything is possible. But it is tough because everybody that we talk about, especially now that we're cracking into the top 10 guys, is 2026, 2027. So, Tyler, I know you were going to say something.
Yeah,
my bad.
so you're mentioning him working with Adam Everett. Not that Adam Everett was an elite player by any means and not much of an offensive threat at all.
Respected coach, though.
But
yeah.
Adam Everett had 5 years in his major league career where he played at least 100 games, and in every single one of those years, his defensive WAR was at least a 1.5, but 4 of those 5 years were 2.2, 2.5, 3.3, and in 2006, he led the National League in defensive WAR at a 4.1. The guy knows what he's doing.
Right.
So to get, to be able to have a coach with legit middle infield major league experience, I think can certainly help this guy who's already pretty slick with the glove.
No, that's a great point. I mean, that's the defensive side has been a big improvement as well. So I'm encouraged. I think Bryan Rincon, and I know I talked about it yesterday, that Bryan Rincon is one of the prospects that the Phillies are really excited about. That's what Matt Gell wrote in a piece earlier, that he's one of the 2 that really jump off the page as someone they're looking forward to in the future. So I am too, Bryan Rincon.
Yeah, he's an exciting one. Definitely. I would imagine he's going to start the year at high A with a chance to maybe move up this year because he does seem to be taking those strides there. So we'll definitely be paying attention to all these kids in the top 10 this year. All right, as we're closing out the show, Renee, we have to get to your positivity in a second. But Tyler, I thought of you yesterday when I saw this Jason Kelce story. He wants to buy the rights to backyard sports and bring back backyard baseball and backyard football. I missed the boat on these. Were you a Pablo? Was it Pablo Lopez
yes.
or no? It's still not Pablo Lopez.
What was his name?
Pablo Lopez plays for the Twins.
Wasn't it Pablo somebody?
Pablo Sanchez.
Pablo Sanchez. So Jason Kelce wants to bring the video games back. Does this warm your heart?
Yeah, Renee and I and JP talked about this yesterday on the Union Show too.
I missed it.
I'm so excited
FOMO.
for this. Now, granted, here's what I'm gonna say: if you're going to make it, I don't need 2024.
I was going to say, you keep it the
Yeah,
nostalgic
please
graphics.
keep it the basic
I probably
90s
would.
looking. Yeah, I agree on
because
that.
the game that they're making, yes, it's going to be for young kids still. It's going to be a kid's game.
Sure.
But when you have such a gap, the game you're making for is us.
Part nostalgic,
The kids that, we were kids that grew
Yes.
up with this game. So there is an era of, I kind of hope that they, you don't have to make it, CD-ROM, Microsoft 98 graphics.
I was a Doom guy.
But
Wow.
there should
Now we're
be
going
an
back.
element to it of it doesn't need to be 2024.
Sure.
5D.
But you would buy it if it got released.
Yeah, probably.
I would. Wii Sports and Backyard Sports were up there with me with my Sega days, my Sonic the Hedgehog, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot days that I was playing.
Did you ever play Earthworm Jim?
No. It sounds like fun. What was it about?
It was awesome.
I was I
To
also
my old
liked
heads in the chat.
a Pac-Man and
We're not that old.
Atari and
I mean,
those games
when you
too.
mentioned Sonic the Hedgehog, Earthworm Jim was that same time frame. You got to be a worm and you were cool and you had guns.
Oh, I never played that
Earthworm
one. It
Jim
sounds
was
like
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
But that's what your childhood was. The video games you could play back when I was flushing my CDs down the toilet. These were the classics. You would play backyard sports were just the same way you played outside. You had Kenny in the wheelchair, because we went over this yesterday as some of the big names. You had Ricky Johnson, Pablo
Duke
Sanchez.
Kaboom.
Yeah, I mean this, and then you got to draft your
Nukem.
teams, and you got to play just
Yeah.
like you
I
would
know,
play.
I missed it.
And they
I'm
were
sure
so
I would've
great.
loved it,
Oh, you
but,
would have loved it. You would have loved it.
Yeah, Spiral Out. I'm with you there on Duke Nukem. That was awesome.
Oh, Nintendo. I had Nintendo.
Yeah. All right, Renee.
day. What a
this
time.
is our final day. We did 24 days of Phillies positivity, and
the
we're all
pressure.
being put out of our misery and that we don't have to scrape our brain for any more Phillies positivity. You are closing us out here on 24 days. What is the
I didn't put it in Notion,
24th reason why the Phillies are going to be better this year than they were last year?
All right, since this is it.
Toe and Earl was good. It was another video game.
Now I'm going to play some video games.
Yeah, I know, right?
Since we are at the end, and all of our positivities to manifest a championship.
Yep.
We all want to see the Phillies win the World
Sell us.
Series. So I feel like, therefore, my final positivity has to be in line with winning a title. So mine is that the Phillies will not lose back-to-back playoff games, and they will not blow a playoff lead. Because when you look at the last 2 years, going back to 2022,
They've shit themselves a little bit.
Going back, the last 2 seasons in the wild card round, phenomenal. Won both games, knocked it out. Marlins, Cardinals, see ya. Then in the NLDS,
See ya, the performer? Got him.
Won those 4-1. Great. Went on into the NLCS. Won that 4-1 as well. When they had the lead, they went on, put the team away, took that 3-1 lead, closed out in 5. The times they lost, 4-2, 4-3, in the World Series to the Astros and in the NLCS to the Diamondbacks, the Phillies lost back-to-back games. It was a 2-1 series. They were up against the Astros that you ended up losing that series 4-2. And it was, as we know, up 2-0 against the Diamondbacks, and you end up losing 4-3. If they didn't lose back-to-back games, let's say the Phillies beat the Astros 7-0 back in 2022. The Astros come back, shut out the Phillies, but then the Phillies win the next one to keep that lead.
All right.
They would have won the World Series. Same thing with the Diamondbacks. If you didn't blow, okay, you lose game 3. We knew a loss was coming. It's hard to shut a team out. You lose game 3, but then you turn around and win game 4, take that 3-1 lead. The series is over. So if you have a Phillies team this year and we see them going into the playoffs, keep their foot on necks, pedal to the metal, don't let down, especially as the playoffs wear on. It's a whole different ball game, guys.
All right,
so
I like
that's
it.
what I'm going with. Do
There
not
we go.
lose back-to-back in the playoffs. It's a killer. It's a momentum swinger. It causes a downfall from there. It's hard to recover losing back-to-back games.
All right, I like it. There's our
Ow.
24 days of positivity, which we will get out on the website in some way, shape, or form. I might have to write it. I can write words. Yeah, but we'll get it up on the website. 24 days. We did it. We made it, guys.
Woo!
Yeah. All
Tyler,
right.
That's not you, right? That's the other Tyler Zulli?
No, that's me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hello.
I chat every once in a while.
Arkham
say,
City is one of my all-time
They're talking about the
favorite
games
video
that they're currently playing, and Dave P said he's playing the Arkham trilogy. Arkham
Wow.
City is one of the great games.
I mean,
of all
I would
time.
imagine that
Man.
Spider-Man gameplay was always awesome. So
Spider-Man was fantastic.
I used to
Yeah.
play Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was
I used to play the
really-
Hulk, too. That was an underrated, really fun video game to play. To be the Hulk and jumping
Hulk
around. And you had to fight
smash.
the dogs. You had to fight...
Fight dogs.
Like from the first Hulk, when he fought the big dogs. Do you remember
man.
in the Hulk when the dogs took the same stuff and they...
Well, that's a
morphed
great
into these huge-
segue into our last point before Guess That Swing. A big birthday shout out to Major. Major, the Phillies pup. I think he turned 2.
See, I
if I'm
knew.
not
I just teed
mistaken.
you up.
Yeah. So
We're here.
happy birthday, Major.
Happy
He's a very good boy.
birthday to
Certified good boy down
It's
there
your
at Citizens
birthday.
Bank.
Happy
Where do you think Major
birthday
stays
to
year round?
you. In Citizens Bank Park, duh.
Does
in like
he?
a doghouse there.
Do they?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't
Somebody
really
takes
know.
him home, right?
Yeah, they can't do that. That's not allowed.
Yeah, no. I wonder who gets to take Major home. That's pretty cool.
Do you think that somebody gets paid to be the owner of Major and that's their
Wow.
job?
That would be awesome.
Like now that I think about it, for every team that has a live animal as their mascot,
Somebody
like
has to
Georgia
take
with the
care of it.
Bulldogs, do you think they're literally hiring
Probably.
a major? What
That
do you
or
call him?
just
What's his
falls
title?
on-
Like director of Major?
Major's probably caretaker or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a dream job right there.
Because there's no way that's a front
You get
office
paid for
person.
that?
That's like that's like
know.
a person. That's someone's job is to be the animal caretaker.
All right, Renee, we're getting to Guess That Swing. We're trying to get out of here.
I'm stalling. I don't want to play.
All right, Tyler, let's hit us with today's Guess That Swing.
All
Matt
right, guys.
Vierling was tough
This
yesterday.
is, I'm going to say on the scale of 1 to 10, this is a 2 or a 3.
Oh, but that almost makes
and
it
what was
worse.
Matt Vierling?
Like
an
an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, so
March
this-
was a 2.
This
or
is
a
going to
3.
be like a 2 or a 3,
Oh,
and
gosh.
there's a couple of defining
Ooh, all right.
factors on this silhouette.
Is it a thick lower half?
Oh gosh.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
That's
I'm
like a
texting you
nice-
my answer. I got
nice
it.
leg.
I'm in.
Wow.
Don't look at my text. Get out of here.
Your confidence is making me want to look.
Nope. Get out. I'm
All
in.
right,
I'm
Jamie's
in.
locked in.
Wow.
Before anyone in the chat guesses.
Wait, I have to pull up my thing.
Did you see it, Tyler?
Yes.
All right.
Happy birthday.
By the way, Fujinama got $3.35 million from the Mets.
Yeah, I would have done it
in incentives.
Yeah, now that's.
Yeah,
I had
You're
heard
on
him.
the door.
He had
to
been
a title.
connected. He had,
$4 million. Just pay it. Who cares?
Just pay it. I actually was expecting. I remember reading something with his name tied to the.
All right, stop
Phillies.
stalling. Let's get guessing.
Renee,
mine's
Renee.
already in.
Renee's
Oh, you're
answer's
in.
locked in. A lot of people in the chat are saying the same name. Renee and Jamie, you guys gave me the same name. You're all winners today.
Woo! I know
The
my
elbow
Nick.
guard was the giveaway.
Yeah, for sure. And his body's like I feel like
He has
that's
a very
he curls into his.
Yeah, like
into
he
the bat.
lowers his head and right shoulder. He dips
He's like
a
hugging
lot.
the bat.
Yeah, but the elbow guard was definitely it. Nick Castellanos, we all get a win on this Friday. I think that might have been a layup on a Friday to make us feel good entering the weekend by our social media maven Chris there. A little layup for us. We'll take it because I've been on a cold streak.
We go from Nick Castellanos being easy to his guess that trajectory, and he picked Paul Bacco. Like, what are we doing?
Where's the in between?
Yeah. Well, shout out to everybody in here today. Please hit that likes up button.
Dave, Spiral Out, Barbara, CMC, everybody that tuned in.
Wim139. Everybody in here, we appreciate you. We love you. We hope you have a great weekend. We will be back on Monday at our new time, which is going to be 11 a.m. going forward until at least the season starts. So 11 a.m. going forward. We won't be your lunch dates anymore, but we'll be your pre-lunch dates. Maybe we'll just start making it a lunch happy hour before lunch,
not?
right?
We can make our
happy
own
hours
meals.
before dinner. So we just start, we'll just bump it up. And just
Yeah,
maybe at
happy hour
11
before
a.m.
lunch. I like it.
Yeah,
I like
sure.
it.
But everybody
Or like
have
a brunch with like mimosas.
Yeah. Have a great weekend out there. Hopefully the Phillies do something. Spoiler alert, they're not going to, so don't get excited. But we'll be back on Monday at 11 a.m. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Enjoy
For Tyler,
your first Friday of February.
that's not a thing people say. For Renee, I'm Jamie. We'll see you on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.